Este el DXAS FEBC, de ustedes Radio Comunidad, ta serví para conectar gobierno, privado y mga miyembro del comunidad. DXAS 1116, de ustedes Radio Comunidad.
Ang oras sa buong Pilipinas, 1:30 na ng hapon.
Ahensya de Konsensya, serbisyo publiko para sa iyo, ka-Pilipino.
Alright, mapagpalang araw sa lahat ng nakikinig at tumututok sa mga programa natin dito sa 1116 na DXAS, your community radio. Panibagong araw at pagkakataon na naman para tayo ay makapagbigay ng mahalagang impormasyon mula sa iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno.
Kayo ay nakikinig sa programang Ahensya de Konsensya. Ang programang nagsisilbing tulay at first and third Tuesday of the month ay kami ang mga lingkod ang Commission ng Human Rights. Ako po si Peter Villadolid, isa sa mga Information Officer Commission on Human Rights Regional Office 9. Panibagong hapon at panibagong impormasyon tulad sa inyong Commission on Human Rights.
Alright, ako naman po ang inyong makakasama din, si Mr. Daniel Paculanang, isa sa mga Promotions Officer ng Commission on Human Rights Regional Office 9. Mayong hapon sa atong tanan, no? Sa Zamboanga del Sur, Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga Sibugay. Unta, naalam mo sa mayong panlawas. Assalamualaikum, rahmatullahi ta'ala wal barakat, mga tanong at muslimin. Ano mga probinsya, sa mga island provinces natin, sa Basilan, sa Sulu at saka sa Tawi-Tawi naman, no? At syempre dito sa siyudad ng Zamboanga, buenas tardes a todos. I-welcome na di atong programa el Ahensya de Konsensya. Alright, so this afternoon, mga ka-konsensya, we will be speaking about, we will be discussing international humanitarian law. Humanity must prevail. Collective action and accountability in IHL. Protecting the dignity of every person amid in the midst of armed conflict. Why? Because we are today is August and we are this month of August, we observe the International Humanitarian Law Month with our team ngayon, pinalakas na ugnayan at pagkakaisa sa pagsulong ng IHL or strengthened collaboration and unity in advancing IHL. Pag sinasabi natin IHL, mga kakonsensya, International Humanitarian Law. But we will be, discussing more on this later on. Why? Because even in armed conflict, humanity must prevail. Kahit sa gitna ng digmaan, dapat pairalin pa rin natin ang being a person, being a human, and we have to respect each and every rights for that matter. Now, the IHL is not about taking sides, in a particular conflict. It is about protecting human beings and limiting the suffering caused by the armed conflict. And so today, we will talk about a very important message from, the Commission on Human Rights on humanity. Humanity must prevail. Okay? Mga kakonsensya, alam nyo, pag nagkakaroon ng mga digmaan, armadong labanan, o armed conflict, it can bring death. It can bring displacement. And we have experienced that here in Zamboanga City. May mga destruction, yung takot, at saka even division. But even during armed conflict, or even during conflict for that matter, there are rules that must be respected. Kaya nga, meron tayong tinatawag na International Humanitarian Law or IHL. This one, the purpose of which is to protect human beings and limit the sufferings caused by the armed conflict. Kaya tinatanong din natin sa ating sarili, sa gobyerno, sa mga komunidad, sa mga business establishment, ano ang pwede nating gawin, no, para to ensure that humanity prevails over violence, so that we can truly say humanity must prevail even during armed conflict. Di ba, kasamang Peter?
Yes, sa mga Dan, very timely yung topic natin ngayon. Dahil this month of August, we are celebrating the International Humanitarian Law. And I like yung theme natin, no? Humanity must prevail. Dahil in times of war or in times of conflict, people remain people. Even if we are on the opposite sides, kaya nga sinasabi natin na humanity must prevail. It does not limit na dahil magkagera tayo, magkaaway tayo. Cruelty never becomes acceptable. So through this episode, we should be able to explain in simple terms, ano ba talaga itong international humanitarian law and why it remains important during armed conflict o sa panahon ng mga gera. We will also discuss the role of human rights defenders, businesses, kagaya ng sinabi ni kasamang Dan, government institutions, the communities, the civic societies, and other stakeholders in preventing violations and para ma-promote ang peace and also peace building. Through this episode, we also and especially after armed conflict. So, sali po kayo sa ating usapan. Kung may mga katanungan, may mga komento o mensahe, ay mag-text lang sa 0916-296-6625 o 0998-844-1410 o kaya mag-comments sa 1116 DXAS FB page.
Ayan po, no, mga kakonsensya, yung mga contact numbers natin para pwede po kayong sumali sa ating usapan ngayong hapon on advancing, no, or humanity must prevail, collective action and accountability in international humanitarian law, protecting human dignity in the midst of armed conflict. Pero we have to go back, no? We have to go back to the basic. Dapat usapan natin ang international humanitarian law, pero ang tanong natin, no, sa mga nakikinig at saka sa mga nanonood sa mga multimedia platforms natin, no? Ano ba tong international humanitarian law, no? Ano bang pagkakaiba nito sa human rights law, no? Meron ng international human rights law, meron pang international humanitarian law. So anyway, mga kakonsensya, yung international humanitarian law, this is the body of international rules that the purpose of which is to seek to limit the effects of armed conflict. Hindi natin maiwasan na magkakaroon ng mga armadong digmaan. Alright? Pero yan, may mga armadong digmaan, but then may mga rules na dapat natin sundin upang pababa yung epekto po ng armadong digmaan. Now, one of the purpose ng IHL is it protects people, no? Yung mga tao na hindi na they are not actively taking part in hostilities, no? Kasama diyan yung mga civilian, no? And persons who are wounded, no? Yung mga may sakit, yung mga nakakulong, and yung mga taong paralisado na, no? Hindi na makapag-participate in armed conflict. Yung IHL din, it regulates how parties to armed conflict conduct the operations, no? May mga rules tayong sinusunod dito, no? Though we cannot really prevent the happening of armed conflict, pero pag nagkakaroon man, we have to follow certain rules that will be discussed later on ng kasama natin, no? And itong napag-usapan natin, yung mga rules na ito, nakapaloob yan sa isang convention na tayo sa Philippines, we signed this, no, and we agree. We ratify na sinasabi natin na yes, we will going to follow this, assuming, God forbid, na magkakaroon ng armed conflict. Now, ang tanong natin ngayon, pwede na ba? Pag meron na ba tayo kasamang Peter, pag meron na bang IHL that regulates the war, no? Ibig bang sabihin we are already allowing war kasamang Peter?
That's a good question, Kasakitan. That's IHF, the International Community.
Pasensya na po, nagkakaroon lang po tayo ng technical difficulties. Sana okay na po tayo dyan, mga kakonsensya. Yun ang tanong natin, no? Meron po tayong international humanitarian law. Yes, pero ang sinasabi natin, are we already allowing, no, the happening of war if we already have, the international humanitarian law? Siyempre, the answer to that, mga kakonsensya, yung IHL, ibig sabihin, meron na tayong IHL, hindi po ibig sabihin that we are already accepting war or we are already accepting or allowing, no, the armed conflict. Yan. So because whether we like it or not, we consider armed conflict, yung mga war, these are unacceptable. No, we do not accept this. These are undesirable. No, kaya lang pag meron pong sinasabi nating armed conflict, yan, no, we have to follow certain established rules intended to reduce human suffering. Yan, when they occur. Mahirap na kasi pag halimbawang may digmaan na tapos we are not following certain rules, ano mangyayari sa atin para tayong mga uncivilized individuals, no? Pag may namatay, halimbawa, we will not take good care of them. May nasugatan, halimbawa, no? Hindi natin naalagaan. Nandyan pa rin po yung intention natin na alagaan yung mga kalaban ng isang armed group, no, natamaan, then meron pa rin siyang obligasyon na alagaan yon. No? May mga basic principles po yung IHL na dapat na malaman ng mga combatants during operation. Number one na po dyan yung the principle of distinction, that the combatants must be able to distinguish between a civilian, no, and a combatant, no? Yung mga military objectives, military targets, and all. Kasi pag hindi yan sinusunod, yung principle of distinction in a particular conflict, for instance, kahit ano na lang ang pwedeng targetin ng mga armed group. Yung mga schools pwedeng targetin and all. At saka wala na silang makikita may mga accountabilities and all, no? Ang sinasabi natin sa principle of distinction, mga kakonsensya, that civilians must not be deliberately targeted simply because they are present in a conflict-affected area, no? Simply put, ang sinasabi natin dito that civilians are not targets. Hindi ibig sabihin na in a particular place nagkakaroon ng armed conflict, may mga civilian, bahalan lang. Pwede nating matamaan kung sino matamaan. Bawal po yun, mga kakonsensya. Ang pangalawang principle, no, of IHL na dapat natin malaman, no, tayong lahat, yung principle of proportionality. We have to remember that even when a military target is legitimate, no, klaro na yung target ng yung operation, the anticipated incidental harm to civilians and civilian objects must not be excessive in relation to the concrete and direct military advantage anticipated. In other words, though sa IHL, no, pwedeng i-attack ang isang object na basta klaro lang na military target yan siya, no, hindi dapat magkaroon ng sobra-sobrang collateral damage, lalong-lalo na sa mga civilian at saka sa mga civilian objects. Kasi again, nang makikita yan pag halimbawa magkakaroon na ng investigation kung nagkaroon ba ng violation of this particular principle o tinatawag nating principle of proportionality, no? The principle, no, of proportionality recognizes that military operations can have consequences, but it prohibits attacks where the expected civilian harm would be excessive. No, it allowed, no, minimal damage perhaps, para basta hindi lang po excessive. Military objectives do not justify unlimited harm to civilian. Hindi ibig sabihin na ano na to, digmaan na to, kahit sino na pwede nating patamaan ng mga ng mga gamit pang digma natin. That is actually being observed pag halimbawa and being investigated pag nagkaroon ng allegations of violation. And then the other principle, mga kakonsensya, is the principle of precaution, no? That the parties must take feasible precautions to avoid or minimize harm to civilian and civilian objects. Ibig sabihin that planning and conducting military operations must take civilian safety seriously. Tinitingnan din natin, no? Dapat yung operation ng mga military, halimbawa, na mag-conduct ng military offensive. Yan. Tinitingnan, may mga civilian ba dyan? Ano ba ang matamaan halimbawa? Pwede bang mas minimal ang damage na magkakaroon? Ang mensahe dito, mga kakonsensya, before acting, no, parties must take reasonable steps to reduce civilian harm. Kaya nga yung pag-usapan natin, humanity must prevail, no, collective and accountability in IHL, because if there will be violations of these principles, no, na tatlo pa lang ang naibigay natin, they will be held liable. Yan. And then the fourth liability, no, kasamang Peter, okay ka naman dyan? Pwede na natin mag-discuss yung pang-apat na military yung pang-apat na principle. Eh?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Tayo ba ay narinig dyan? Yung pang-apat natin na principle is yung tinatawag natin na military necessity. Military necessity. Military necessity does not mean that anything can be done in the name of military objectives. Military operations remain subject to applicable IHL rules. Hindi pwedeng sabihin natin dahil tayo ay nasa militar, pwede na lang tayo dahil may gera, kahit kanino na lang yung target natin. So it is subject to applicable IHL rules. It cannot be used as an excuse to violate the rules. It cannot also justify yung mga gawain that IHL explicitly prohibits, even when fighting for your survival or for your cause. Ang rules ay dapat nag-a-apply. So the concept cannot be used as a justification, sinabi natin, no? And there is also an important reminder that military necessity is not a blank check for violence. It is not a license para gawin ang lahat na pwede nilang gawin dahil may gera. Dapat meron distinction, merong proportionality, merong precaution, at as I have mentioned a while ago, dapat merong military necessity. Because IHL does not accept war. It simply says, when war comes, humanity must still prevail.
Tama ka, no? Kasamang Peter, no? Mga konsensya, tama po yun, no? We cannot avoid war, really. But in case, no, God forbid, we will be having we will engage in the same actions, mga armed conflict, halimbawa. We have the mandate, the obligation to observe those principles, no, international humanitarian law. Kaya lang, yung mga iba nagtatanong din, mga kasama natin dyan sa Ayon sa Konsensya ngayon. meron bang pagkakaiba itong IHL, no, International Humanitarian Law, at saka Human Rights Law? O pareho lang ba yan sila? No? Ano ba ang pwedeng magiging liability or accountability natin in case we will be violating any of this mga principles, no? Now, again, for purposes of our discussion this afternoon, magkaiba po yung IHL at saka International Humanitarian Law on one hand and Human Rights Law on the other hand. But they are, complementing each other, no? These are legal frameworks really that, ang concern nito, yung IHL at saka Human Rights Law, ang pinaka-fundamental concern nila is the protection of human dignity, no? Kasi pag sinasabi nating human rights law, these are laws that protects human rights at all times. During wartime ba, during peacetime ba, no? And there are human rights that can be be subjected to limitations or derogations, no? Halimbawa, the right to travel that may be suspended and all. Pero pag during armed conflict, pagka nagkaroon ng armadong labanan or digmaan, no? Si IHL po yung nag-a-apply dyan, no? Kasi it regulates the conduct of hostilities and the protection of persons affected by conflict. Yan po yung distinction nila. Pag during peacetime, nandiyan ang international yung human rights laws, no? Pero once an armed conflict erupts, no? Without need of call, apply natin si IHL. We follow the four basic fundamental principles na na-mention kanina natin, no? Yung military necessity, proportionality, among others, no? And if there will be violations, no? Pag nagkaroon ng violations, there must be accountability. Kaya importante din yung accountability na mention natin kanina. The accountability na sinasabi natin, this is not about, automatically being one-sided, no? Hindi yung ganun. Kasi pag sinasabi natin, pag nagkakaroon ng halimbawa ng mga allegations of violations of the basic fundamental principles of IHL, titingnan natin kung sino ang liable, no? Through our investigation. Kasi pag sinasabi, there is excessive damage to the civilian populace, halimbawa, yung mga civilian property na affected. We will conduct a proper investigation, yung mga impartial fact-finding mission. Okay? And we'll try to respect the process because we do not immediately believe to the allegations. We have to verify the information given to us, no? We identify, no, yung kung sino ang magiging responsible based on the evidence that we will be able to gather. Yung mga nagkakandak ng investigation, yung mga human rights defenders, no, among other things. Again, it is about establishing facts through credible evidence and applying the law fairly. Kaya halimbawa, pag nagkakaroon ng mga armed conflict, mga kakonsensya, hindi naman kagad nandoon na si investigator, no? Hindi ibig sabihin pag nagkakaroon ng mga digmaan or conflict among others, then meron na kagad mga investigators to see to it na, teka, may mga violations. Kaya we also recognize yung mga efforts na tinatawag nating mga human rights defenders, especially, no, sa mga conflict area. Importante yung mga role, no, yung mga human rights defenders. Kasi nandyan sila, no, nandyan sila sa ground. Yung mga human rights defenders, they often work in difficult and dangerous environments. Ano ba ginagawa ng mga human rights defenders? Yung mga volunteers na yan, mga advocates, no? Mga kaagapay natin yan, no? They help document concerns, no? They raise awareness, they assist communities, they promote accountability and advocate for the rights of the vulnerable person. Kaya lang, ang minsan nakakasakit, masakit sa ating damdamin na meron ng mga grupo na dapat tumutulong din sa atin and also to monitor the conditions sa ground, no? The human rights defenders are, facing threats. They are facing harassments, yung mga intimidation and other forms of pressure. Minsan nare-red tag pa, no, yung mga human rights defenders. Ang dami na nating nakitang mga ganyang kaso and even mga testimonies na meron po tayo. Kaya ang gusto rin natin, no, na we follow the IHL, the principles of IHL, and also respect the human rights defenders. When human rights defenders cannot work safely, communities may lose important channels for reporting violations and seeking assistance. Yan po mga kakonsensya, no? In a regular training, ang dami natin pwedeng sabihin, no? Yung mga examples, mga videos and all, and even perhaps testimony. Pero dito sa programa natin, we will try to compress and give important message, especially this month. This is the month of August, no? We are observing this International Humanitarian Law Month. Now, pero again, you will be asking, oy, teka, kasamang Daniel, kasamang Peter, ano ba yung role ni Commission on Human Rights para to defend the human rights defenders in their plight, no? Na magkaroon ng a safer place to advocate for human rights among other things. Ano ba yung nagawa ni CHR o ano na ba yung mga nagawa ni Commission on Human Rights? Up next po yan, mga kakonsensya kasamang Peter.
Yes, before tayo magpapatuloy sa mga role ng Commission on Human Rights, for that matter, at saka ng mga other human rights defender, kasamang Dan, thank you for sa pag-separate kung ano ang IHL vis-a-vis human rights laws. Baka kasi sasabihin nila, bakit may human rights laws, meron pang international humanitarian law. Sabi nga ni kasamang Dan na ang international humanitarian law during lang sa mga time of conflict, while ang human rights laws, it's a protection para sa atin lahat. And it covers even during war times and peace times. Before tayo mag-proceed, pagpatuloy natin yung ating pag-uusapan pagkatapos ng ilang paalala at magbabalik ang Ahensya de Konsensya.
Ano ang kailangang gawin kung posibleng na-expose sa HIV virus?
Agad na kumonsulta sa healthcare provider. Maaari kang bigyan ng post-exposure prophylaxis o PEP treatment kung ang exposure ay within 72 hours o 3 days. Kung lumampas na sa 3 araw, maghintay ng 3 buwan bago magpa-test. Ang maagang pagtuklas ay magbibigay sa iyo ng mas maraming pagpipili ang pamamaraan ng paggamot para ma-overcome ang side effects ng virus.
Ang paalaalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Department of Health at ng Far East Broadcasting Company, Philippines.
Uy, Mare, di ka maniniwala. Naalala mo si Aling Maria? Yung kapitbahay natin? Yung nakatrabaho sa Saudi?
Oo, kumusta na siya? Wala na akong balita sa kanya eh.
Naku, kakauwi lang niya last week. Tapos sabi niya, may kilala siyang recruiter. Sabi pa nga niya, kung gusto daw nating mag-abroad, pwede niya tayong tulungan. Mabilis makakaalis, walang poproblemahin, at maaahon natin sa kahirapan ang pamilya natin.
Talaga ba? Pangarap ko talagang kumita ng dollars para sa pamilya ko eh. Sigurado kang matutulungan tayo nitong recruiter ha?
Sigurado yan. Binigay na ni Aling Maria sa akin ang contact number ni Madam. Siya yung recruiter. Okay talaga to si Madam kasi mabait daw at maraming koneksyon sa Saudi at Dubai.
Sandali lang. Pag-isipan natin itong mabuti. Nasabi ba ni Aling Maria ang detalye ng trabaho, kontrata at mga babayaran bago aalis? Alam niyo naman, maraming mga illegal recruiter. Baka imbis na magandang buhay para sa pamilya ay trahedya ang maging bunga nito.
Ang nega mo naman. Sure ako dito. Okay na to.
Wait lang. Huwag makontento sa okay na to, lalo na kung tungkol sa pagtatrabaho abroad. Alamin ang tabang proseso ng pag-abroad. Huwag basta maniwala sa mga pangako para hindi maging biktima ng illegal recruitment at human trafficking. Protect yourself, protect your family, and protect your future.
Bago maniwala sa nagsasabing okay na to, bumisita sa Department of Migrant Workers o DMW para sigurado ka. Bisitahin ang kanilang official website o tumawag sa kanilang hotline. Your safety and your future are worth more than empty promises. Don't take the risk, be informed, be safe.
Ang paalalang ito ay hatid ng Department of Migrant Workers Region 9 at ng 1116 DXAS, your community radio.
Hay, ano ba to? Ang dami na namang dahong nahulog. Asa na ba ang posporo at susunugin ko itong mga dahon?
Naku Mare, alam mo bang delikado yung pagsusunog sa bakuran? Una, masama yan sa ating katawan at baka pagsimulan din yan ng sunog. At lalo na dahil sa batas ng Anti-Burning Law o Republic Act 9003 na nagsasabing bawal magsunog ng kahit anong basura sa iyong bakuran.
Ay, maniwala ka dyan. Marami nga tayong kapitbahay na nagsusunog lang ng kanilang basura sa bakuran.
Oo nga Mare, kaya wag nating silang gayahin. Kasi kung may magrereklamo at napatunayan na nagsunog ka ng basura, ay pwede kang pagbayari ng multa o makulong ng 1 hanggang 12 araw. Ikaw rin, nakakatakot pa naman makulong.
Hala, ayoko kayang magbayad ng multa o makulong. Sige na nga, ipapasok ko na lang to sa sako pagkatapos kong walisin. Tutal, may truck naman ng basura dumadaan lagi dito sa atin.
O Mare, ayan na yung truck ng basura, bilisan mo na.
Isang paalala mula sa 1116 DXAS, your community radio.
Este el DXAS FEBC, de ustedes Radio Comunidad, ta serví para conectar gobierno, privado y mga miyembro del comunidad. DXAS 1116, de ustedes Radio Comunidad.
Ahensya de Konsensya, serbisyo publiko
De
para
Konsensya.
sa iyo, Kapilipino.
Ayan, nagbabalik ang Ahensya de Konsensya kasama ang Commission on Human Rights. Kayo ay nakikinig sa 1116 DXAS, your community radio. Ang DXAS ay isa sa mga himpilan ng Far East Broadcasting Company at kasapi sa kapisanan ng mga broadcasters ng Pilipinas.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon once again. Welcome back sa topic natin today, Humanity Must Prevail, Collective Action and Accountability in International Humanitarian Law. So, ano yung tinanong kanina ni kasamang Dan, no? Ano ang nagiging role or magiging role ng Commission on Human Rights in protecting human dignity amid armed conflict? Let's start with the question, bakit ito mangyayari o at ano ang magiging role ng CHR? As a country's national human rights institution, ang CHR ho has a clear constitutional mandate to protect and promote human rights. Ang commission ho ay consistent sa pag-advocate for human rights-based approach para sa peace building and conflict resolution. Its work includes monitoring human rights conditions, conducting independent investigation, pag-educate sa publiko natin, advocate for change, and recommend institutional and policy reforms. This role is especially vital in conflict-affected areas, sa mga communities na they often face competing claims, conflicting narratives, and serious allegations of violations. Ang komisyon ho ay nagsistand as an independent voice to help clarify facts, maghanap ng hustisya, and to uphold rights. Ang human rights din ho, bilang human rights defenders, ay nagkakandak din ng national inquiry. In 2025, the CHR conducted a national inquiry which focused on the situation of mga human rights defenders, particularly concerning incidents of red tagging, kagaya nga sa sinabi ni kasamang Dan kanina. Human rights defenders, human rights advocates are being tagged, pinagkakamalan na rebelde or mga kriminal. But you might ask, what does this have to do with conflict and human rights? Yung inquiry highlighted serious threats to the lives, liberty, at saka sa seguridad ng mga tao na nagsasalita, or for those who stood up, and it called for a stronger protection, accountability, and broader safeguards for these advocates. There are reasons why this matters in conflict zones. When human rights defenders are threatened, silenced, or being threatened, communities become more vulnerable. Ang mga tao mas natatakot, and mas lalo na silang hindi na magsasalita. They would refuse to seek help. Protecting defenders means protecting the very space where communities can speak, makikilahok, and they can also demand accountability to the government. Pag that space ay isasarado natin, conflict becomes harder to resolve. In the abuses becomes easier to hide. Ang CHR ho nag-conduct din ng regional inquiry. Recently, July 28 and 29 of this year, the CHR conducted through the regional office in the Negros Island region, looking specifically at the alleged violations of international humanitarian law and human rights. Kung itatanungin natin bakit ito ay significant or bakit ito importante, it was convened to support investigations with clear goals. Ma-establish ang independent, verified at saka factual record, to examine the conduct of all parties against IHL or the international humanitarian law and human rights standards. Kailangan din natin i-identify kung ano yung mga reforms or mga sistema na dapat natin i-institutionalize and syempre to help prevent violations. The inquiry was guided by non-negotiable principles, which is impartiality, due process, and evidence-based fact-finding. Ito po ay napaka-importante dahil conflict situations are often clouded by competing claims. He says, she says, ganon. Maraming mga rumors. Minsan one-sided yung mga istorya. So protecting human rights requires us to look past unverified allegations. And pwede natin ma-determine ano ba talaga ang nangyari based on the facts and evidence. No, the truth is the first step towards justice. Pagdating na naman sa business of armed conflict, why are business part of the conversation about IHL? Recently, I just concluded IHL celebration in the central office. Through its regional office, the central office gave an invitation kung bakit to our partners and to submit mga abstract for the businesses of armed conflict. So, tatanungin natin bakit napasok sa usapan yung business as part of the conversation dito sa IHL kasamang Dan, no? That is exactly the theme of the SAGE-R 2026 conference. Mentioned a while ago, no? The business of armed conflict. Why should ordinary people care? Dahil ang businesses today operate more and more in areas affected by conflict or instability. Their presence, yung mga operation nila, yung supply chains nila, yung paggamit nila ng properties, it directly impacts communities, livelihoods, jobs, access, resources, and syempre maging ang local development. This now raises a vital question: will business fuel conflict or will it help build peace? Business can be a force for good when they respect human rights, they avoid practices that worsen division or tension, they operate responsibly and transparently, they listen and engage with the local communities. Importante ho yan. Dapat alam nila ang mga concern ng mga community. They adopt conflict-sensitive approaches. They support economic recovery, and they should also help create conditions for lasting peace. Now, can business contribute to peace? The short answer is yes. It's absolutely yes. As long as responsible business, as long as when they conduct their business, it is a responsible one, and it is by creating decent jobs, which would strengthen local economies, treating people fairly, and refusing to profit from division or exploitation. Marami kasi dyan, kapag may gulo, kapag may conflict, ay tinitik advantage ng mga businesses po natin. Post-conflict economic recovery is especially important kasi yung mga local community, they need opportunities to rebuild their lives. So business must ask two questions now. Is this profitable, or how does this affect people, community, human rights, at saka ang kapayapaan? And we also would like to ask, ano ang magagawa ng isang ordinaryong mamamayan? At this point, you might be thinking international humanitarian law sounds technical. This sounds like work for lawyers, soldiers, government officials. And sasabihin natin, kasamang Dan, what does IHL have to do with me? So siguro pwede nating sabihin that international humanitarian law concerns everyone because armed conflict affects entire communities, and everyone has a role to play. Here's what each of us can do. We can learn or understand basic IHL and human rights principles. We must learn also to reject misinformation. Yung mga tawag natin mga ano yung mga term ngayon, fake news. Yes. And the worst part is that we should not practice the spreading unverified claims or fake news. We must respect dignity, speak responsibly, and we should also stand with those affected, especially the vulnerable and the marginalized. And we also value and protect those who speak up. Importante ito. That is one reason why IHL is there. Sa mga sa mga media din naman, they have the responsibility to report responsibly. And lahat tayo dapat, we have to support peaceful and lawful ways to resolve differences. Finally, yung theme natin speaks of collective action and stronger leakages. Anong ibig sabihin nito? It means recognizing that the simple truth that no single institution or no government agency, no commission or no organization can protect humanity all by itself. Collective action means lahat tayo we are in this together. Government agencies, local government, the Commission on Human Rights, security forces, humanitarian organizations, yung businesses, civil society, schools, communities, media, at lahat tayo, every individual. So our goal must more than just responding after violations happen. We must work together to prevent, strengthen, uphold accountability, and build peaceful communities. Samandan?
Ito, Peter. Ayan, no, mga kakonsensya, yung mga ang role ni Commission on Human Rights sa mga situations of armed conflict. Even during at the beginning of our program, yung concentration natin, although there is armed conflict, yung tao pa rin, yung dignidad ng tao pa rin. Even yung mga businesses may role in the promotion and protection of the rights of individuals. They play actually a very vital role even during armed conflict, yung mga business establishment natin. And so, yan, ang pag-usapan natin, ang humanity must prevail. Collective action and accountability in IHL. Pero yung tanong natin, ano ba ibig sabihin ng humanity must prevail? Mga konsensya, yung ibig sabihin nito that even when societies are divided by conflict, we must never forget that every person has inherent dignity. That civilians must be protected, no? At yung mga may sakit, yung mga na-detain, yung mga nasugatan, yung mga hindi na makapag-participate sa mga hostilities, dapat they must be treated humanely. Na pag merong mga violation, we call for we ask for accountability, no? Hindi lang dapat natin to i-ignore. Na kung halimbawa kailangan natin mag-investigate, we have to investigate it fairly, no? Kukunin natin ang ultimate facts, kung titingnan natin kung sino yung magiging violators nito. And then yung mga sa mga nagsasalita para sa karapatang pantao, asiguraduhin natin na yung community can freely participate, no? They can voice out their opinions, they can express their sentiments, they can speak out their hearts, among other things. At saka yung mga businesses naman, no? And other sectors must recognize their responsibilities when operating in affected communities kasama TTEB.
Yes, this international humanitarian law marketing, pinalakas, naugnay, at pagkakaisa, pagsulong ng IHL. This reminds us that protecting humanity requires unity and cooperation. Peace is more than absence of armed conflict. It requires justice, accountability, respect for human rights, strong institutions, and communities where people can live with dignity and security. So let us therefore reject impunity. Let us reject violence against civilians. Let us protect human rights defenders. Let us support evidence-based investigations and accountability. And let us strengthen cooperation among all sectors, because in times of conflict, our humanity is tested. And when humanity is tested, humanity must prevail.
All right, thank you very much, Kasamang Peter, and let us continue to promote and protect and uphold human rights for all during peacetime and even during the so-called armed conflict. Remember, mga kakonsensya, human rights are not privileged. They are every Filipino's birthright. And according to the words of Jose Capepe Diokno, sabi niya, no cause is worthier than the cause of human rights. Human rights are more than legal concepts. They are the essence of men. They are what makes a man human. Kami po, ang Commission on Human Rights ninyo, Commission on Human Rights ng lahat, naglilingkod, maging sino ka man. Kaya maraming salamat sa lahat na nakinig sa atin. Alright, pwede po kayong tumawag sa amin, pwede kayong bumisita dito sa ating office, no, sa Tumaga por Sentro, or tumawag sa mga hotlines natin. For Globe, 0916-672-7940. That is for Globe, and for Smart naman, 0908-332-4519. Sama Peter.
Yes, maraming salamat sa ating radio technicians at salamat din sa ating production assistant.
Magpapiligan tayo ulit dito
sa ahensya de Consensya mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes.
Tuwing una at pangatlong Martes ng buwan ay kami ang Commission on Human Rights, ang inyong nakakasama, ang inyong lingkod. Sa ngalan po ng ating Regional Director na si Atty. Judeline T. Macapilla, sa lahat ng bumubuo ng Commission on Human Rights Regional Office 9. Ako naman, Mr. Daniel Paculanang.
Ako naman si Peter Villadolid.
Ang ahensya de Consensya ay kasama nyo sa pagtataguyod ng tapat
at mahusay na serbisyong publiko.
Maraming salamat at magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Good afternoon sa lahat.